I literally bought a gun sled that you could like mount the gun on, and I was like,
full
okay,
sniper mode.
I'm gonna like put like a laser thing. I'm gonna try to like.
I peak Nigel.
Yeah, no, but because I
You know what
wanted.
Peter would do? He would just sit out there like, like full. He
So-
would get like a.
Well,
I
so
always ask myself, what would Peter do? I think it's just picking. I'm gonna go back.
Where's it coming from?
I'm gonna go behind the wall and cry really quick.
We're live now from the dumpster. Welcome to a very special episode of this, a very safety episode of the special third podcast.
a special third.
The special three. Like, if we had to turn Nigel down so quiet we could barely hear him. It's okay.
That's better for everyone.
Well, no, the audience can still hear you. It's just Kevin and I can't hear you.
Oh no.
Okay. And this week we're going to talk about several topics, such as Nigel visiting a country slightly less dangerous than the United States at this point.
Probably depends on where he goes.
Kevin ran over a deer. We got to come up with even if we have to make shit up. We got to come up with exciting topics.
Yeah.
Blood everywhere.
Blood everywhere.
How long do you think you could talk about running over a deer? Completely made up scenario before you.
I could go all day. I could go for days.
And then I posted a video on the main channel. I remember the password. Do you hate it? I know that you forgot your password too.
Yeah.
You have like 3 videos ready
I'm
to post.
I'm gonna comment. I finally remembered my password.
Are you gonna post all 3 videos that you finished like right when you figure out your password, or are you gonna?
No,
drag
I'm gonna once I finish this
Wait,
one.
you
I'm
finished
gonna try to
3
figure out
videos?
He's got 3
my
videos. He
password.
just forgot his password.
I
We talked about this.
I have 3 videos that are like halfway done.
No, that's the
What
joke.
kind of- what kind
of?
What kind of
I can't lie, I
squirrel
can't do
activity is that?
Which one do we start with? The running over the deer, posting a video, or Brazil being?
Oh wait, I have another thing. I need you. Well, I already asked you. I need you guys to help me fix a high voltage line.
I did already.
Well, it's not really. Yeah, but
Oh,
like,
right.
you can,
Okay.
Can we
you
do
can
it
tell me about
live?
Yeah. Live.
Yes.
It's like operation.
Let's do it live.
Yeah, there's a Discord notification from Nigel on our Discord server, you know. I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm the person who responded to that.
Well, by the time I saw it, like by the time you guys already went through it, and I'm like,
like whatever.
yeah,
That gives me confidence that I gave him a good answer.
yeah.
What did you ask? You were like,
Well, because I have I bought a device, a large machine.
you
off
can't
of-
when you say device
cer-
or machine and
A
are vague, it
tremendous
just-
apparatus.
Yeah, for my ass. It's like, it makes it sound like you bought a giant sex toy.
I'm building it up. A large wieldy device. Yeah, like I like Kevin's tremendous apparatus. No, it's a scanning electron microscope.
Oh shit.
So the problem was, God, it was, I feel like, I don't know why. I've just gotten used to like picking up stuff that you spend a lot of money on, and you just kind of, there's like faith that it's gonna
What a
work.
humble brag.
No. I'm saying like, sorry, I meant more. You pick up stuff that you paid a lot of money on, but you have to suppress the fear that it's never going to work and that you wasted all your
I
money.
think that there's something wrong with a couple of those ideas. Like, spent a lot of money and it might not work. Usually is not how Facebook Marketplace purchases should go. How?
What do you mean?
How-
You spend
if
a
you spend
little
a lot of
money
money on something,
should
you're
work.
doing that for the guarantee that
Okay.
it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should preface this. I spent, compared to the cost of an electron microscope, I spent very little.
Mm.
But for somebody who knows nothing about electron microscopes, how they work, how they function, how you put them together, I thought I was going to show up and they would just, it says on the thing, you get just the microscope. So I was like, oh, cool. It's just the microscope on this like thing. Then we show up and there's like a desk unit with it. And there's wires everywhere. And they're like, oh, there's 2 other pallets of stuff we need to give you. And I'm like, I have no idea
Where
what's
did you
going
buy
on.
this? Like an online auction?
The Canada
From
one?
the Canadian government.
Yeah. Nice.
How much was it?
So it was 7K Canadian. So it's like, it's and
there
it
other
was
people bidding on it?
Yeah, there were.
Okay, that makes
But
sense. Less stuff.
if you look, the same microscopes on eBay for like parts and not working for twice the price in US dollar. So it's like, it is a good deal.
Yeah.
And it comes with, worst case scenario, I'm like, if it didn't work, I could take parts out and it would kind of be worth it because it has like a turbo pump and other stuff in it. But basically, there's no instructions. There's no installation manual, and they just kind of like threw it at us. It was actually a horrible experience.
They were like,
we showed up,
like-
need floor space. Take this right now.
Yeah.
like straight up. We showed up, and the electron microscope was on like an electric pallet jack, just sitting on it, and this big desk thing was tethered to it with strapping.
Oh, geez.
And we pull up with this truck, and they're like, "Okay, we'll load it in the truck." And we're like, "How do you get it off the electric pallet jack? It's just sitting on it." And they're like, "Oh, we don't know."
They didn't put it on a pallet?
So that was part of it. We had to like convince them to put it on a pallet because we're like, this is
they,
literally
like-
impossible to put in the truck.
This
Yeah.
And do the thing,
8
the
feet
thing
long.
tethered with the wire. Yeah, it's like 8 feet. You can't. It's like
I know exactly what you're talking about because there's a guy Daps that's moving, and he
Yeah.
has one of those tables. It's like 8 feet long, 2 feet wide. It weighs 350 pounds just for the table. It's like solid aluminum, like, you know, extrusion beams. And I'm like, I don't want it.
Don't
It's
deal
too
with it.
big.
But either way, the long story short is I got all the stuff and there's no instructions, but I spent on Friday, I played the game, which works very well, which is just plug things in where they fit. And so I was able to plug a lot of things in until I got to, we took everything apart and I realized I was like, okay, this makes sense. The high voltage lines, except apparently when they dismantled it, they stripped a screw on one of the grounding ones, the grounding thing. So they just cut the wires. So they just cut all the grounding wires. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
There's no reason
So now
to.
it's like thankfully it's not the actual like 20 kV line that they cut. So it's just a grounding wire, but I have to like re-splice it. And I know nothing about high voltage.
That's definitely the easiest line to fix.
Yeah.
Because like ground, dude, do we even, you know what? I think that nobody actually knows what ground is. Even electricians don't know what ground
Yeah.
is, right? Like why are there 3 plugs on your outlet? This is just like an outlet that goes to the wall, yeah? No, it's what is the plug?
Probably
I could
earth ground.
Earth ground to what though? To the chassis?
Probably-
So basically the high voltage, I'm assuming it's the high voltage, I don't even know if the right terminology, multiplier or whatever. So it just like boosts it to the 20 kV.
DC.
So the entire, sorry?
Probably DC.
Yeah, it's DC, I'm assuming. But it's like the entire board is just plastic. It's just
Yeah.
covered in plastic.
Yeah.
So there's only like 2 exposed things. One is like just a little grounding screw that you can put like a little you put the screw through the eyelet and screw it in.
Mm.
And then one's the 20 kV one. And that's basically it. So those are the only exposed pins, but the grounding wire's cut. So I have to like
The
reconnect
high
it to the
voltage
part that has
ground
the
wire is
eyelet.
perfectly safe as long as it's touching ground.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
that's basically the rule of grounding wires. Is like if the grounding wire is touching ground, it is at a 0 volt potential. If the grounding wire is not touching ground, it's not at a 0 volt potential. So it's like if you do a good job splicing it, you could just crimp it or solder it. But if it was to fall apart for whatever reason, now it's no longer safe. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like
It becomes some fraction of voltage between 0 and 20,000.
yeah, it's the 20,000 volts wanting to go to ground.
Yeah.
So you like, well, if that's even how it works.
Well,
'cause,
then
like,
if you get between that, then
you become the conductor, and
Yeah.
you're a pretty small resistor relative
And-
to
And I heard that touching 20 kV
probably hurt.
lines is not good.
No,
well, it's probably super, super, super low current.
probably,
If it's- well,
probably,
I know-
probably,
it
maybe,
is. It
probably.
is.
Yeah. What about like a capacitance? Like,
It's like it'd be the output stage of a voltage multiplier. So you're talking like
eh,
picofarads.
yeah, but how many
nanofarads
mega amps?
for a split second?
Mega amps.
I when I built my laser cutter, I was always kind of surprised by the current meters because the current meter has to be in line with the voltage, which means you have
Yeah,
that seems like sort of shady,
it
right?
does. Yeah, shouldn't you have like some kind of
Right? Because now you're routing
Yeah.
your high voltage ground through your front panel. So like if you hit the front panel with a hammer and it broke that connection,
yeah.
now you have like your 20 volt output at the user. Like, so I'm assuming in actual machines, I would pray they have some sort of like remote sensor that brings the readout to the front and the readout's done digitally or something. But what happened was my grounding wire like just went straight to the aluminum frame. So it's like the 20,000 volt DC power supply goes to the laser tube. and then the output of the laser tube goes to ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so the laser tube is just like like a resistor, you know?
Yeah.
And then the ground got loose off of the frame, and so it broke the circuit. And I didn't realize this for the longest time because the laser cutter was just working.
Oh, perfect.
And so what was happening, and I probably wasn't getting all my
Beams.
optical watts out of the laser
Yeah.
because it was grounding through the air. So it was going from the ground to the aluminum frame of the laser cutter.
It was like arcing.
It was arcing. And so the wire was like burned, the frame was burned. There's like these little arc marks on it. Like that's, I'm pretty sure, how it operated for most of the time it was running.
So
was
so what you're telling me is the stakes are low.
the stakes are super low. That's why I asked if it was in a metal box, right? So
It
if
is.
your- if
It's in
your
like a
ground is
double
touching
shell
ground,
metal. Yeah.
it's ground. If your ground is not touching ground, it'll arc to ground, which is a metal box, which means your metal box is now ground.
Okay. I think because my idea was just solder strip it a bit, solder them together, and then just put some
Yeah.
high insulation tape
That's what
around
I-
it, and then
That's fine.
heat shrink it to hold it in
Yeah.
place.
That's, I think, totally
Okay.
fine. Because then like the insulation is actually maybe less about insulation and more about just like maybe adding some strain relief and extra strength to the outside.
Yeah.
I guess the part that, because like the other thing too is when I was looking at the pieces, I remember I got scared at first because I just, coming out of the electron microscope where they just bare wire, like not bare wires, they're like the little eyelets, but they were covered in caulking. And I was like, what the hell is this for? Then when I found out where it was connected to, it's because once you screw it into the high voltage board, you have to, I mean, I guess maybe they don't have to, but they put silicone insulation caulking over it. So I guess it wouldn't arc to the,
How close are the terminals?
they're pretty far apart, but probably, I mean, they're probably spatially like the terminals. You mean between the ground and the
Yeah, or between the high voltage line and like terminal and anything else.
probably like to the box is like 2 centimeters,
That's
and then to the
that's edging
ground
it.
is like 5 centimeters.
We edging?
Yeah, you should probably caulk it.
Yeah.
So
I think there's some cock
I
works
found
better
some
than others.
stuff,
I
yeah.
prefer the white cock. What color?
I like
is that
the
a
clear
joke?
one.
Because they did put, it was white cock on it.
The high voltage supply, the Spellman high voltage supply I have, it's the high voltage output. So that like everything is ground. There is like actual ground port, but like ground is ground. It's all ground. The high voltage input is like 9 inches into the machine.
Yeah. It's like it uses a coax cable,
Yeah.
and it's like you
You
remove the
strip
outer
it.
layer, and it slides. Yeah.
It's like the HDPE like sleeve, and then that slides like deep into the machine. I think like you basically high voltage, you almost have to treat like waterproofing, except for electricity. Like, cause high voltage,
Yeah.
when you get above, I don't know. I mean, probably like a couple thousand volts, and especially when you're at like 20,000 volts, it almost is if you are trying to use electronics underwater.
Mhm.
Like, imagine you have a circuit board and you just stick it in salt water and you're trying to use it. Like, it's just not going to work. Like, everything has to be like basically waterproof.
Yeah.
Like-
Especially at like 20 kV, because you get like corona discharge
Yeah.
also. And then you start getting like, if it's high frequency, you start just getting, high frequency DC, high voltage DC. You start getting like a charge building up on everything too.
Like the opposite of ground.
Yeah. It just like appears.
Like it's like a voltage just like in the air. And so if you have connectors close to each other and you don't like basically waterproof the outputs,
Yeah.
they're just gonna like, they can be right next to each other if they're like waterproof.
And everything around it
'cause-
has to be properly grounded too, because it'll start picking up that charge. It'll
Yeah.
become like,
And then stuff on the outside becomes
little
charged and then that
capacitor.
starts arcing. And you're just
Yeah.
like, how is it getting through? And it's like, it's not getting through. It's just,
it's a field.
What I
yeah, it's
what I
really
like
bad.
is
An
when
angry
you
aura.
when you buy the box, someone set it up already, and it works, and I never have to look inside.
There's
But
this
Yeah.
there's this guy.
unfortunately,
that
I
follow on
had to,
Twitter,
and now I have
Nigel.
to deal with these issues. Yeah.
He does electron microscope repair, and I'll send you his contact info or his like Twitter handle, because he's really good. This is like all he does, and he convinced me not to buy a used electron microscope. You should have talked to him first.
Interesting. What was the reasoning?
Just they're a hassle. They take up a lot of space, and
probably just never works.
Yeah.
Like even if
It's
you
a
get it
lot,
working, it
a
never
lot
works.
of maintenance. Like replacing.
So
You have to like metalize whatever you want to image to. So you need to like sputter gold onto
Yeah, what are you trying to measure or look
the
at?
target.
Is there's a
you know,
joke in here somewhere? I can't quite. I'm not. If anyone,
it depends. Okay, so I mean, I'll just answer your question. Basically, one thing I've been making is ferrofluid, like making the nanoparticles. So it's very useful to be able to visualize that stuff. I can always send it to a lab or take it to a local lab. But when I saw the SEM for sale, I was like, you know
this
what?
is
It could be
exactly
fun
the
to like
narration of
mess
the
with
video.
it.
Is like I want to measure this. So I could send it to a lab, but I was on a government deal auction website and I saw one for sale. I thought I would do it myself, and then 90% of the video is fixing the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had
So
the
the
space,
other one-
I would get one. So like I get it.
The smart
See,
thing would,
boom.
I
to
get
do
it.
would have been to send it to a lab, but instead I bought my own.
The other thing is I want to make like I'm working on some carbon nanotube stuff. The problem is you can't just you can't tell if it's amorphous carbon or nanotubes by any like normal optical microscopy. Like you need to actually do like electron microscopy.
You have to metalize that.
But I don't. So the one that I
Don't
got
work.
actually, I don't actually know what it means. It's I'll just look it up. It's a cold field.
That's just for like organic things, like
Yeah.
like a bee.
I feel like an electron microscope is like a boat. You want a friend with an electron microscope.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't want an electron
Well,
microscope.
we have one now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I literally cannot think of one thing I would send
Well,
him to look
you
at.
you
I
don't
genuinely don't know.
you don't have one yet, Kevin. It's like your friend just bought a boat, but it has a lot of holes in it. And no, I think the machine actually works fine.
No, that's a
The
great
biggest
analogy because we have one of
A
those
boat
in the
with a lot
yard
of
right
holes.
now.
That's my dad's. So this place has just become like a shit trash magnet. It's cursed.
You know what's the bigger problem with this SEM more than anything?
What? The owner?
Yeah, that's terrible. I think it actually works. Like, I think there's fundamentally nothing wrong with the core of the SEM, and it came with all the peripherals. The problem is it didn't come with one single extremely important peripheral.
Yeah.
The computer.
Oh
With
no!
all the
All
software.
the software.
You
So-
actually might be turbo fricked.
Yeah.
I-
No, so
If you're
Huh.
buying stuff online, especially for that much money, here, let me tell, there's a secret. Here's a secret.
I
It's
have
actually an
faith.
open secret. You're paying exactly for what you get. And if you're finding these machines online for more money, it's probably because they do come with a computer with the
They
software
don't.
on them.
most of them don't come with computers.
you
the
sure?
secondhand ones.
The ones that
A
sell
lot
for
of them
twice the money?
Yeah, and they say explicitly like either broken and you can literally see the things like beaten up, or they just go they didn't test it.
Are
But
these
a lot of them
actually selling,
explicitly
or
say
is
like
this just
no
like some
computer.
I know what I've got energy?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's just on eBay, so I didn't look too deep into it.
Hmm.
But
All I
this
know
one-
is like
I should be able to do it.
the printer we bought, the like 60-inch printer, is one of those dangerous purchases where the software will make or break your experience. And I was having trouble getting, because of Windows, like when the print drivers and stuff, it asks you what kind of paper you're using. And for some reason, they don't give you like 60-inch roll as an option. And so I'm like sitting there trying to figure out, and they go, apparently you can make a custom paper sizes.
Yeah.
And because I want this printer making 60-inch wide prints. And it's like sort of terrifying when you get this deep into it. You know, I've spent like a couple $100 on replacement ink cartridges, which is actually really cheap for how much they do cost, or the print heads. And I'm like, oh God, oh shit. Like, am I not going to be able to print directly? Because I found, so like if you go to the IP address of the printer on your network, it has a UI. And you can upload images to print, right? So I did that, and it's like unsupported file format. And so I'm like, all right, maybe it needs like a TIFF. So I do that, and it's like unsupported. I'm like, oh God, oh geez, oh God. Here we're like, what's happening? And so I finally downloaded the HP like one click or whatever the hell they call it, which is sort of print directly to the computer.
Okay.
And I saw some stuff where it was like see in store on the page, and it's not like here's a piece of software, download it. I'm like, what do you mean see in store?
See in store.
And so I click on it, and it was just like selling computers. So I think their website's just super shit.
Oh, it's like all those links are dead now.
Yeah, kind
basically,
of,
that
yeah.
were part of that software. Or
Well, no, just on the HP website right
on their
now.
website, yeah. So it links to something else.
Yeah,
that-
it's like every product has a C in store like link to it because they just like have a default format for
I
the
see what you're
products. And so
saying
like
now,
even
yeah.
if it's a free software download, it still says C in store and like just
yeah.
takes you to the HP store. It was free and it didn't make me make an account
Ooh.
and it just printed. But if it had been like, you know, like a $300 piece of software they force you to buy, it's like, oh, you bought our, you know, $15,000, $17,000 printer.
subscription.
Yeah, now, oh, by the way, here's this piece of software, but it's a trial and you have to buy. Like that would not surprise me at all. And so with stuff like this, that's my biggest like terror is software. Even Ben Krasnow did the he has that X-ray panel, right? The image panel. Like
Yeah.
the huge image sensor.
Those are like
And
12, 15,
yeah. Oh,
30,
no, $30,000
$30,000
new. Yeah.
new.
So every time you buy, if you like see an X-ray table on like a auction website, it never comes with
I
the
know.
cartridges.
Yeah.
Guess how he got his working? Ben Krasnow.
He pretended to be a real company.
Nope. Somebody saw him post about it and sent it to him.
Nice.
Yeah,
The
some
software.
some
or
no, not
just
the
a whole
some-
computer.
No, just a guy sent him the software
Nice.
because it's like you can't if you email them, they'll just say no.
Yeah.
Like
they
they'll never-
stonewall you.
They won't even respond.
Classic.
Okay, with that being said,
You might be
know,
turbo
here's my-
fricked, bro.
No, here's my shot. Anybody out there?
You're gonna have to learn
Yeah,
how to
what's the model
Hitachi-
number?
What's the model number?
with Hitachi S4700 SEM software for Windows XP. Please help me.
Have you looked at all for it?
Kind of. Basically, my friend reached out to Hitachi and they were already a little bit
Mm-hmm.
skeezy because my friend was like, we're trying to put it together. Can you just send us like the installation manual so we can like know what certain
Dude, this is
things
where
do?
you gotta just lie and socially engineer. You'd be like, oh, we have this, we're rebuilding it. We need
Yeah.
a
Do you
manual.
still have your old
University email?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. No, I didn't even know
You
my
can
friend
spoof
reached
emails.
out, but
Just
like,
do like a .gov.
yeah.
Can you? How do you
We
do
actually
that?
have
I don't know.
We
I
have
get
a-
them all the time though, so I'm assuming there's a way.
we're gonna talk to the guy on Wednesday, but it was funny because my friend asked, like, hey, can you send us the installation manuals? He's like, no, we don't share those. He's like, but I can hop on a call and like help you out. And I'm like, oh no, this is already a bad sign. It's okay. We plugged in anything. There's only 2 plugs that we don't know what they do. Everything else kind of fit in, it's just a more complicated, fitting squares into square holes and circles into circle holes.
The only thing worse than a $400 piece of software getting in between you and using the hardware you already own is them not even being willing to sell you the software.
I mean, the thing that
'Cause
makes
it's just
me
junk at that
Yeah.
point.
the thing that makes me angrier is less that what's it called? That they're not willing to give it, or I mean, sorry. I should say this. That is exactly what makes me angry. It's not that I would understand if this was like a 1-year-old thing and they were like, oh, we don't really want to give it because it's, something. This electron microscope is 20 years old. They don't sell it anymore.
Mm.
The software is completely valueless to them.
Wait. And you want it
Like-
for Windows XP?
Because I don't think I theoretically can run probably compatibility mode for like Windows 7.
When did
But it's
XP
like-
no, you might. So, well, I don't want to say anything. I keep going.
So my faith, okay, this is what gives me faith, okay? When I go to sleep at night, it's the thing that keeps me going. There's a
the
website
only thing
that-
stopping me from jumping to my death
Yeah.
is this one
There's a-
thing.
there's a website that sells refurbished stuff. And so what they did is they refurbished the whole desk portion, I guess, of the SEM, which was just kind of a pain in the ass, and they put it in a nice box. But they also put a more modern desk, and it explicitly states Windows 11 Hitachi S47 refurbished. So, They have somehow put it on Windows 11, so it's doable. And somebody knows something about how to do this.
You know what's funny
That's what
about
keeps
all
me
of this?
going.
The funniest part of this whole fucking debacle
What?
is if you got a scanning electron microscope and you had to make your own system to read it, it would be better to get one from the 80s than the
Oh,
early
yeah.
2000s. It's like an old car, right? Like if you had to fix your car, you want to
that's
fix
what
a
you're
car
saying.
from the 80s, 70s. You don't want to fix a car from, 2018. or 2025. God forbid, dude. If you had
No.
to get into your Tesla to fix anything, that would be a nightmare.
I'm trying to find this electron microscope thing
Like
on Twitter.
if this microscope, if you cannot get the software working, which I pray you can, you literally will have to throw it in the trash or spend 4 years of your life learning how every part of it works.
So my basic this is like, I was gonna say my worst case scenario. I'm gonna say it positively, but it might come across as terrible. I was gonna say worst case scenario, if I don't get it working, I'll just strip the whole thing down and build my own electron microscope.
No. This is what you should do.
Yes.
No. This is a bad idea.
It's like,
This is the right
worst
answer.
idea.
You got enough clout to like reach out to some of these places that do resell
And
them
beg.
and repair them. No, just say that like you need this. Here's your problem. Here's my YouTube channel. Just help me with the software pipeline. It costs them nothing.
He has said enough already. Somebody will help Nigel.
They will. People email me trying to reach to help you.
Somebody is sitting at their desk tweaking right now. They're like frantically typing in an email to you.
Senpai.
They've probably already sent it by now.
Oh my god.
They're just gonna send you copy and paste what they asked ChatGPT.
Oh, the monkey's paw.
You love that.
I hope somebody can help me. 10,000 ChatGPT emails.
It's useless garbage. I just want to let you know I asked ChatGPT like I can't do that myself. Anyways,
It's okay. I have faith. I believe it'll work. Everything seems in good condition. It's all plug it in.
that's
you know,
you haven't even gotten to the part where something will go wrong yet.
The only minor complication is we have no computer, and the plug that I assume interfaces with everything, I have no idea what it is, and it might
Remember
be
the time
proprietary.
you bought the high voltage coil from a thrift store and you plugged it in and it exploded?
Oh yeah.
Have you plugged into your machine in yet?
That's another part of the problem, but I can solve
What?
that. No,
what
basically,
do you mean that's a part of the problem?
no. I was so basically
The light just turned
it's a
blue.
very minor problem. It's a
It looks
very minor
fine.
problem. The machine runs on 100 volts and it's 4 kilowatts. So it means that I have to have just a very high amperage 100 volt line.
What? What?
Don't you, dude? You've got like the weirdest voltage stuff. Like, didn't you just buy some?
It must be from
helium,
Japan.
the helium
Like,
compressor thing. That one's
200. No. That makes sense though.
You need a giant transformer with just like a bunch of taps on it.
What? Where does 100 volts come from?
Yeah.
I think it's because that's what. Do they run that in Japan?
No,
And
Japan is
they're
like
yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're like the same as us.
No,
Well,
I
us
think
and-
it's 100. I think it's 100. Standard
100?
voltage in Japan's 100.
What happens if you plug?
It's a Hitachi. So they Japaneseified it, and they're like, you know what? You want to plug it in North America? I hope 110 works.
Everything you're getting is 20% like over or under what a normal voltage is.
At least the 110 is 10%. Okay, at least I can feed it with 110, and I'm only over
110 is enough.
Okay,
of a margin to make me think that it might just work.
yeah.
What's the first thing that it's connected to in the machine?
What do you mean?
What's the first thing that 110 touches?
I think you'll be pleased to know it is the power supply.
Okay, it might
Yeah.
work. It might be fine.
Yeah.
It might not be, but it might be.
I would look at the power supply. That itself might be rated,
Yeah. It probably has
sometimes
nothing
it,
on
yeah,
there.
maybe between 90 and 130
If I
volts.
was a scanning electron microscope engineer, the last thing I would be doing is building a custom power supply. Right?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
They probably have, it's Hitachi. They probably have like
Modules.
modules.
They threw a module in there, which I'm one, the best part of this is it's easy to replace. B, it should be more robust than if they made it specifically for the machine.
So I think 110 is okay. Kevin, you're referring to the helium thing when you said it's like weird. Basically, it's just because everything here, I don't know how it is in the US. In an industrial setting, you'll only have 208. You won't have 220 because that's like house. The problem is most stuff works fine, but specifically the helium compressor says do not put 208 in because you will break the machine.
208 versus what?
220. They were like, basically if you go
220
it's
is
been-
one phase though, right? 220 is one phase, and then
It's all
308
three phase.
208
This is
three
all
phase.
three
No,
phase.
220 is 220
You can
three
do-
phase? How many
that's what it wants. It actually was weirder too. It says 220/230, and I was
So
like, what does that mean?
apparently the 120 that we use, or what is it? What at the 110, 120? Is it
usually, no?
115? I've seen them all.
It's 120.
Yeah, it could be 120.
It's between
It's
it all.
120
it goes
like
up and down,
house.
though, right?
No,
And
It
why
sh-
did
it
where
should
do you
always
see
be one-
115? Where do you see
I don't know
110
what
from?
that comes from, but
Is
it's
this like more blue collar worker shit?
yeah.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think from what I understand, because it's like, I mean, this is my limited knowledge. It's like 120. If you outlet in the wall should be, I think here it's like 118.
Yeah, so
it's like-
the way that works,
It can sometimes
is
be
you have hot
low
and you
yeah.
have ground, which is neutral,
and neutral.
which is ground. No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no.
Yeah,
They're the
ground
same.
slash. Yeah,
They're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
welcome to the world of what the fuck is going on. Neutral and ground are continuous. So like they share continuity. So neutral is ground. So, like,
Depending on your system, though.
so your wall outlets are like they're not even one phase. They're like half of one phase. I've researched this, so I'm pretty sure that this is how it goes because I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
220 here, and I love how
240.
or 240 here is one phase, full phase.
Yes.
So what you see in a 110 breaker box is like one half of 240, but there's two halves, so they
Yes.
split it. So you can
Mhm.
have two circuits coming off of one 240 line.
Yeah.
So when you say 220, this is so bad, dude, because 220 doesn't say anything. It just says 220 volts. Is that what does it look like? How many wires?
It gets super complicated here, especially because it's like in the industrial setting, it's like, where is your voltage coming from? So it's just like, I don't know how, it's like, it depends. Like everything comes in as 600 three phase, but then they put it through the transformer, and I believe it outputs at 208 three phase. And then you're only pulling one leg from that, and you'll get 110 from that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we do power for open source, everything is 208. So a 208 line comes in and it gets split off into three circuits. So
Yeah.
So there's I
exactly.
think that we get it's like 4 wires, I think. So one of them is ground, and then the rest are the phase.
could just be
the
hots.
legs of the phase, the hots. Yeah, exactly. So it's all hots. All hots, no
So
neutrals.
that's delta. 3-phase
Yeah,
delta.
but it gets super confusing because
Bro, what is
you
this?
because Will, when you bring, actually I should say this, when the 600 volts comes in, I believe there is no neutral.
Yeah, because neutral is just
The
ground.
transformer makes the neutral.
But then why do they make neutral if neutral is just ground?
It's neutral is because, like, as Kevin's saying, there's delta and then Y. Keep in mind, my knowledge of this is pretty lame. But like the Y configuration, artificially, you can create a neutral from it because of how, I don't honestly how, like, it's how the transformer's set up. You can create a neutral reference to like each leg,
This is horseshit,
which means
right?
that
Oh yeah, no, that's delta. You can do like the neutral would go in the middle of the star. That would be like the kind of the fake neutral.
okay, I forget which one it is, but it's like basically you can then pull
no, that
that
was just
neutral and
Y.
compare it to each leg. Yeah, it's Y. I thought it was Y.
Yeah.
Let's just stick to
You
what
can
we
compare
know.
it to
We know
each
what ground
leg.
is. Ground is the earth, and the earth is a potential. And so we're taking your voltage of your wall outlet and we're saying that this is your ground reference. So if there's extra electrons in the ground, that now becomes 0 volts, and it doesn't matter. Because if you have a negative of electrons in the ground and a positive of electrons somewhere else, what happens? Lightning, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have an actual ground, like if you're not grounded to the earth, you might actually end up with all the lines coming into your house having a high potential to ground, and like that's what's dangerous. Imagine you plug your toaster into the outlet and you throw it in the bathtub, and it's not just the hot line, it's the hot and the neutral line zapping you because it's making its way to ground because there's like a potential from your outlet to earth.
yeah.
And so what they do, this is what ground does. Ground basically, it rips your outlet potential down to earth. So the largest the potential will ever be is between hot and earth. it will never, or hot and like neutral. Like that's the largest potential be between the two wires.
Yeah.
You will never have a potential between the two wires and earth.
Yeah. So the electricity should never make it out of the toaster case
Through anything other than hot.
Yeah.
The ground.
Yeah. From like the heating element to the case.
Yeah.
Because the case is grounded.
And ground is earth. It basically, like the ground gets rid of like static shock, quote unquote.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding was that the ground is just like if you do what you do and didn't wire it right and you're arcing to the box so that when you touch it, you don't get zapped, right?
Yeah.
But it's not meant to actually carry anything.
No. Yeah. I mean, no, unless yes, which yes is like a dangerous situation. It going through ground is the way it's detected. That's what your GFCI. So your GFCI outlet in your bathroom, the reason you get those little clicky reset outlets in wet areas is because if you have hot, which is the black wire on your power outlet, if it goes from the outlet to your toaster to your bathtub drain, it will then complete the circuit through ground.
Yeah.
Which means there's power coming out of the hot wire, the two long plugs on your outlet, not the little round ground plug. You have electricity coming out from one.
Mm-hmm.
And where does it leave? Does it leave through the neutral or the ground plug? No, it leaves through the bathtub drain. So a GFCI outlet basically says, hey, there's power coming out of hot and it's not going back through neutral.
Yeah.
And it clicks off. It's essentially like it detects a leak.
Yes.
And then it turns your toaster off or your hairdryer or whatever the hell you're trying to eat yourself with.
Your bidet.
Your bidet. Bro, now two lights turn on. What the hell?
It's it's sound activated.
Is it actually? Oh my God.
Why is that happening?
The light above us is like a party light.
Kevin going crazy.
I just flashbanged myself.
That's why it was so cheap. How do we turn that off?
Is it supposed to do that?
That's not how I set the lights up. I want it to look like the sun was on us, like we're in a trash can in the open sun.
That's a really bright light.
It is, and then there were two on. Well, yeah.
But I was just gonna say that the complication with my helium compressor is just that it doesn't like 208, so it needs to be boosted like at least 12 volts.
Wait, what's
just
the
so
voltage
it doesn't
coming
overtax.
in?
I think
from
Thomas Edison was right. We should have done everything DC.
What's the voltage that comes into your shop?
600.
Can we talk about taxes?
No.
Okay. DC. Thomas Edison, they killed an elephant with AC power? Right? It was like the nerd wars.
Yeah.
So Tesla wanted AC. Edison wanted DC.
Yeah.
That's some boomer shit, honestly. But I do to some extent agree that like DC is literally used everywhere in your house nowadays anyways. Because like
I know, it's like, yeah.
Just give me 12-volt like car outlets in my house instead of this AC bullshit.
But give me 3-phase pulse.
But like 3-phase oh God.
What?
Like 3-phase AC has to be better for motors, right?
The what?
Like you're gonna get I don't know. My knowledge
AC
is pretty
better
limited
for motors, but
AC is better for a lot of things. It's worse for almost more things, like your average house. Like,
but like
how much
power
stuff in your
transmission
house uses AC? Like
nothing.
3 things. Like
the microwave, and that's it. The microwave, the turntable motor, and the magnetron.
Maybe your refrigerator. But even then, like your refrigerator doesn't really
refrigerator.
need to use AC.
A lot of the new fridges
oven.
have like
your oven. No,
no,
your oven.
If it's electric,
if it's
electric, if it's an
elements.
electric oven, maybe. But like if it's a gas oven, it's just powering a control board.
A lot of
gets converted to
new
DC.
fridges they use
Inverted pump.
Inverter.
So it gets converted to DC anyways.
So
it's
like a
modular anyway.
3-phase.
So it's like if you're gonna have all these driving electronics, you might as well just go full DC. Like
Well, I
Washing
mean,
machines 3-phase too.
yeah,
It's
so
just
stupid.
because obviously the power transmission starts as AC, right? So then you're just converting it at
the power
at the
transmission
terminal.
is what you want to be AC. But like, when you go to
Yeah.
charge your car, your electric car, it's putting AC
Yeah.
into the batteries.
No,
No,
I hope not.
exactly. So it's like you're rectifying it anyways, pretty much everywhere in your house. Like I genuinely cannot think of a single thing other than maybe like an air conditioner. But even then, the nice ones are inverting that have drivers. So it's like maybe a cheaper air conditioner uses AC directly.
So
I mean,
So
for
what you're
really
saying-
big power transfer, like, undersea cables, they do high voltage DC.
really?
Yeah.
That's actually more efficient than,
Yeah.
because I think that the part about AC is it's just really easy to switch up and down.
Because
which
you
is why
get
they
like
do it.
the skin effect at like, 60 hertz or whatever. So
resistant.
if you have like these big cables, it actually eats up a significant amount of power, I think. I think that's why they do it.
interesting. Well, that's why they do it. That's why transmission lines are like such high voltage and so high in the air,
Mm.
is that you can basically pump your voltage up so that you have a shit ton of volts
Yeah.
and almost no current.
Yeah.
Because current is where you lose energy from, right? It's like it's the electricity flowing through a wire, like the number of electrons or whatever current is flowing through the wire is where you lose power. So if you have a high voltage, because power equals volts
Yeah.
times current.
hmm
And so the power flowing through the wire, how do we do this?
It
But-
just,
I was
Yeah,
gonna-
no, there's no way to explain this without getting.
I was gonna
into
say
even-
it conceptually makes sense to me, but I have to admit
It'd be
it
like, you
doesn't.
just think of it like water. Like if you have a lot of water and it's under really low pressure in a giant hose, like you can move a lot of water. It's or energy. You can move a lot of energy. But if you have a very narrow hose with a very, 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 very small amount of water under incredibly high pressure, you can still move energy.
yeah, like the same amount.
Right. And so like with electricity, it works the same
Mm.
way. It's like you can have a very small tube with a very high pressure, which is the voltage. And so you can still move the most amount of energy, but it's way more efficient. You don't lose as much power in the tube.
Yeah. The tube doesn't have to be as
Okay.
big.
Exactly.
I see. I
It's
see.
just basically that's
Wait,
why it's high voltage.
But when you still get really high voltage, you just get electricity pissing out of everything.
yeah, that's why
Like they'll glow at night,
That's scary.
purple. Yeah.
But I was gonna say though, because you were saying Edison and
so
Tesla,
Edison
they were
Fighting each other.
battling,
Yeah.
but in the end, it turned out that both are good. should've
yeah,
just
both are
collaborated.
good, and they were right for probably the wrong reasons.
Why can't we just have more people getting along, man? Why is it all
I
to be a
know.
competition?
It's like, why do electricians have to wire in 110 outlets when every device you plug into it drops it down to 5 and 12 volts anyways? Like, God damn it. Just put barrel jacks everywhere. Yeah, even like with solar and stuff, it makes it so much worse, right? Like everything, like, dude, this
Dude,
is what
barrel
drives me nuts.
jacks, that's huge.
But the outside is
Outlets?
positive and the inside's ground. You get a solar panel, it makes 12 volts, and then you have to convert it to AC to get into your house, and then you plug your phone charger, which brings it down to 5 volts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
like if you want to plug your laptop into your car, you have to get an inverter to boost your car battery up to 110, and then you plug the power supply, which then drops it down to like 20 volts AC
Yeah.
or DC. So it's like we go from DC to AC to DC. It's like just make everything DC,
Like,
damn
yeah,
it.
12 volts.
All this extra electronics when you could just use like really, really simple converters.
It's annoying. When
It's so stupid.
you know when you build something and you start needing like a chain of like
Yeah.
little buck and boost
Yep,
modules,
yep.
and you're like,
You
oh
have
my
buck
God.
converters, and then you're
I
like,
mean-
but I need a boost, and you got to order on Amazon. They look the same, and you like didn't realize this one didn't do that.
I don't know why that reminds me, because I don't work too much with like electronic stuff, but it reminds me when you have to like fit one fitting to another,
Mm.
but then you're like sitting in Home Depot and you're just like
Yeah.
screwing a chain of fittings together to try to bridge the gap between the two
Dude.
things that you have.
I did that the other day. I was like hooking up the coffee machine to the RO water, and I bought, when you buy tubes and shark bite fitting, or sorry, I say shark bite
Mm.
trademark. This is like the Chinese shark bite ones.
Yeah,
Everything you buy on Amazon for little tubes, like 6 millimeter, like 1/4 inch tubes,
metric.
it's metric.
They're gonna be they're
And
gonna
when
be
you go
metric.
so when you
Yeah.
go to Home Depot and you're like, oh, I just need one fitting, and you go and
Yeah.
you buy it, and it doesn't fit, or
No, but
does
here's
fit,
the
but
worst
it
part.
leaks.
It
Yeah.
does, but it leaks.
Because so it's like, dude, that's just absolute nightmare. I don't know why. Why do they do that? When here's a tip. Go on McMaster-Carr, download the 3D models of the press
Mhm.
fitting, the barbed fittings, and just print them, and they work well enough.
Oh yeah.
Just don't put them in your walls. So I posted my video. Feels good.
Mhm.
Yay.
jealous?
Are
Yeah.
you still riding the high?
I bet it does feel good.
But also at the same time, it feels kind of bad because I realized the video does okay, but it kind of makes me feel that like science and engineering content is like less, I don't know, appealing than it used to be.
Less cool. We're not cool anymore.
No, I think I think that it's not that we're not cool. I think it just
People have
collectively,
seen everything. They're
Yeah.
jaded.
kind of, yeah. Because I've noticed like everybody's videos are doing kind of worse. Like not horrible, like it's not bad. I can't complain, but I definitely there's a couple of things that I think have scared me a little bit with this past video. It's like one of the videos in a while where I've been like just sort of happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it still was a lot of work, but it's sort of doing not as good as I would have hoped. And I've seen a lot of other people's videos do not as good as you would think. Even like Mark's videos seem to be slowing down.
I was just about to ask, like, he's a pretty good litmus test. How's Mark doing?
But a lot of the views
Not
come
good.
from all the translations, right? So they translate it to all these different
True,
languages.
true.
Like we're not tapping into, a Japanese market or, like a Spanish market because people have to watch with subtitles or they need to know English. And a lot of people like Mr. Beast and Mark, they're translating stuff. Like you can go and look on the videos and choose different languages.
Yeah.
It's like any of the videos that we're in on Mark's channel, we have a Japanese translator. Like
I've seen that.
And so we sound like it's like, it makes me feel like I'm watching an anime, except we're the characters. And I kind of like the second thing is I haven't seen a whole lot of like up and coming science channels. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would say I have seen videos that I didn't think would do as good as they did with a lot of views, like millions of views. And
But
I'm
where's
like,
where's the creator? Where's the channel?
like the guy that made the clear katana, invisible
Yeah.
sword, that guy.
Does that count?
What do you mean?
Is that really science engineering?
I mean, yeah, he makes things
He has like a maker channel more though.
like Jake Laser.
Yeah, but Jake did like the flying Iron Man thing. It's more like building
Oh,
a
I mean,
thing.
definitely, yeah. But this is like how Jake, I would say, how he started out
Yeah.
is by doing these simple builds. But also, when I saw that video, I'm like, okay, it's not invisible.
I
I
would've-
felt clickbaited,
Yeah.
but yet he still had a ton of views,
I
and
know.
nobody seemed to care.
They didn't care. I when I saw that, I did
cared.
think that I was like, I wouldn't do that. Like I would feel like I did something wrong if I did it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or it's like I made a clear thing and it was like really not clear. Because even the beginning of that video, there's like special effects masking and stuff used
yeah.
to like mask out the sword when he's cutting through something. I'm pretty sure it's that one.
So I feel like that kind of content is harmful to everybody.
I wouldn't say harmful. I almost
Kevin.
that's why I feel like the market is just like less interested. Like I don't know why, but there's less kids into science videos than there were in like 2016 when we were starting to make science videos.
Probably.
You know? It's almost like
I don't know.
I'm not saying there's no kids. I'm just saying it feels like there's less kids. And I don't know if it's like a saturation on YouTube. Like what do people watch now? Like when we started, there wasn't like short form content. It was like Dancely or Dance. What was it? What was TikTok? Musically.
Oh,
Because I remember when like Chelsea, like her students years ago, that's what they were into was Musically.
Didn't that just become TikTok?
It became TikTok. Yeah. And so I feel like maybe just kids are being pulled into like other stuff because short form content works better for their underdeveloped brains.
Yes.
And then they are less interested in stuff like science and engineering because it's a slightly slower topic. Because it's not like a disaster. It just feels like there's nothing coming up. Or the videos that do well are kind of like cream of the crop. And then you don't end up like, I can't think of any channels that have sort of like popped off. It's almost like videos that have popped off. Like, am I crazy or am I missing something?
No, I mean, that seems right. I mean, I can name some people, but it's probably just, the people that rose to the top.
Yeah, but are they like?
But it's not. I don't think there's as many of them as there used to be.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like all the science creators are like kind of old.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chroma, the guy from our Discord server. He's, I think, doing pretty well.
Consistently?
Backwoods.
Cigars? The cigar company?
No, the guy on the Discord channel.
But like the
I forget
one
his
video
actual
does well, or the
channel name.
channel's doing well.
I don't know. They haven't posted enough to really.
See, that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. Is it kind of feels like it's maybe a little more like you make a video and then it does well algorithmically.
Yeah,
As opposed to because that's like I think
because people don't
why-
maybe follow
Mhm.
you as much anymore just for like your content. It's maybe more for like, or not for,
Yeah.
I don't know, because you watch somebody maybe because you just think they're funny and you like them in general,
Right.
and you don't necessarily care what they're doing versus like people who only care about you if you're doing something cool
Right.
that you're
right.
interested in.
Like just the title thumbnail.
Yeah.
Because we used to run like like an, I would say, I don't know, it's not really a management company, but like we used to. So what, 2018? Remember like ads, like getting ads, sponsors for videos was a nightmare.
Yeah.
There were like a
Mhm.
handful of companies doing it, and you're like, it's a
They would
way
always
to.
try to rip you off.
I don't think they were trying. I think they were.
They were,
actually
yeah.
ripping you off. And we were so frustrated with it, and then I met some people that were trying to do it themselves, and so we started our own small company that would like connect brands to creators, and it was mostly science creators.
Yeah.
And it was great because we knew exactly what was happening. It was like we knew, and so it was essentially like there would be a deal. The company would take a percentage of the money, and that paid for it was kind of like a co-op. Like the company never made money, but it paid salaries of like the 3 people working for it, and then we got brand deals, not feeling like we were getting screwed over by a company.
Yeah.
Because you knew it was like transparent, like you knew what was happening.
So like what these companies would do back in the day is dude, I had no idea how much I was getting ripped off
Yeah.
until you started this like Excel sheet
Yeah,
where
yeah.
everybody could put in the brand and how much money they were offering.
Yeah. So it was like me,
Definitely.
the hacksmith,
Yeah.
Peter Sreeple, you,
Yeah.
Alan, who else? It was kind of
I don't remember.
Styro eventually, yeah.
But we were putting in these, I came into this and I'm like, oh my God, you guys are making like, $4,000 or $5,000, I think.
for a video, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, people are offering me like, 1 or 2,000.
Yeah.
And then like a year or two after that, I was talking to Mark Rober and he's like, bro, you're making like $5,000 an ad read. You're being ripped off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And he told me how much he was making.
Yeah. And that's like,
Yeah.
if you back calculate it, like the easiest way to calculate like how much money you could make
Yeah.
is by just figuring out how much money it would cost.
So it's like these companies would have been paying you this much.
Yeah. But you have to negotiate. You have to like,
You have to,
yeah, you have
it's
to
like
fight
we
with
had
them.
no idea. Like we were like orders
No.
of magnitude off
Yeah.
of what we should have been making.
So that's what I was trying to describe in that sheet was like, if a company was to like make an advertisement, they would have to pay for the production.
Yeah.
They would have to pay for the talent. They would have to pay for the endorsement. They would have to pay for the runtime. And if you go to try run, and run ads yourself on videos, because you could do this right now. You could go upload a video to YouTube and run it as an ad.
Yeah.
And that will then, you will pay money and YouTube will distribute it in front of other people's videos. And then,
And if you pay enough money in front of other people's ads too.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
I say,
it's bidding.
and so you end up with a situation where you will literally pay for views and you can come to a very quick conclusion of what that cost is.
Yeah.
And so then a portion of that money gets paid to the person whose video the ad was played on, but you can pretty much back calculate like the amount of money it would cost to get 10,000 views on a video. It's very expensive. It's like very, very, expensive. And so we were running this agency because we knew that like I was getting screwed, other people were getting screwed, and like this is stupid. Like we should just form like a co-op, which is what we did. And the co-op like basically stopped working the past 4 years because the number of videos people were posting has gone down. So like
Yeah.
I think like you've slowed down, I've slowed down, like Michael slowed down, like everyone has slowed down
Alan.
on posting. Alan, like everybody has slowed down, and it's not like somebody came in to fill the void. And I'm like trying to figure out, like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is everyone so afraid to post videos? And that's what makes me feel like there's less appeal. And so people are afraid to post videos that aren't just perfect. Like every video is a banger.
Yeah.
Because it definitely feels like the titles and thumbnails are the only thing that drive success of a video in the way that they used to. Like you could have a
Yeah.
community.
It's like I feel like people care less about me than they do about my content. So it's like I just have to keep the
Yeah.
facade up by only giving them cool content.
I mean, it's not, when you say it like that, it sounds weird, but it does make it easier to make videos about stuff you want to make videos about without having to cater to this, title thumbnail game. Because everyone gets so mad about titles and thumbnails. I feel like Nigel accidentally came into like the perfect title thumbnail format. But for us, it's like I did a this thing or a that thing. And if people aren't interested in it, then they're not going to watch it. And I think that was a little different back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day, people would watch any silly little thing you did.
They were interested in what you were interested in.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they're only interested in what they are interested in. And if you
Yes.
don't appeal to that, the video will do worse. And I'm pretty sure that is what has killed the posting frequency of a lot of these channels, is that they feel like more pressure, and so they go slower and they drag their feet and they procrastinate more. I mean,
Yes. And there's I mean, it's totally supported by
oh yeah,
the evidence of doing that. It's like it works, right?
Yeah.
Like you get more views on videos, but at what cost?
and so this is actually really good news for everybody that wants to start a YouTube channel, because it means you don't need to have previous
Yeah.
success. You just need to have a title and thumbnail that appeals to a mass
I mean,
audience.
yeah.
And it
So
will get viewed.
the one comment I was gonna say is, which I've realized in myself, which is I'm actually trying to go against it now.
Yeah, you're fighting.
Is I'm fighting myself.
the good fight.
Well, it's when you started YouTube, because I think it's pretty fair to say this about all science creators, just across the board. When you start, your priority is finishing the project
Mm-hmm.
and getting a video out. Like you're kind of like more interested in getting the video out, and the project you're doing is important, but also, I don't know, your priority is getting a video out.
Yeah, you have to get far enough along for it to feel like you did it, and then that's good enough. And
that's good enough.
Yeah.
Like you're always looking for that point where you're like, it's good enough. So as an example, it's like if I would, early in the days, I would just kind of like rig something up quickly. If it needed to be black, I would just spray paint it really fast. Maybe not even like whatever. Just like
it's
the
going in the
fastest
trash
thing.
after this.
Like you don't care if
Ye-
you can see the wood grain behind it
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're prioritizing, how can I just do the science? It doesn't have to be, this, you're not thinking too deeply about presentation. But it's like, as you do more projects, and let's say you did one day decide, at first you didn't care, you didn't even color it. Then one day you did decide to spray paint it, and it looked pretty good. The next time you do something similar, you're like, well, I have to spray paint it. But then it can even be worse, where you now do something else and go, oh, well, it's way better when it's brush painted. And you just start adding all these layers.
Oh, I should put some clear epoxy on it too.
I should fill in the holes with Bondo.
Yeah.
But part of this, in my opinion, is when you started, you didn't have the finances to do that. You're kind of like, my budget is $42 and the spray paint is $12.
I remember
I'm not buying spray
I remember
paint.
asking Simone, I was like, when do you ask a company for free product? Like, when do you email them and like ask them for something for free? And she was like, well, if it's maybe more than like $300. And I was like, bro, I'm sitting here looking at like $30 stuff trying to get it for free from companies.
Yeah.
But it's like, the idea I found was, as the budget went up, I was like, oh, I can afford the spray paint. Oh, I could take the extra day to make it look nice. And you keep doing that. And before you know it, that extra 2 hours became a day, became a week. And even worse, you're like, you know what? To get the perfect weather outside, it's a little bit cloudy. I'll wait till the sunny day. It's like somehow you're like so able to just wait for these things. Whereas in the past, if it wasn't nice out, if it was raining, I'm like, oh, I'll just like set up a crappy tarp. I don't even care about the sound. Like, I'll just make sure I film it. So it's like your priority was so much getting the project done. Whereas over time it became like, I don't know, like your little wants of like your little kind of like,
you start getting satisfaction.
Yeah,
and
you start
from
learning
other
maybe
things.
what works.
Yeah.
Like even on the second channel, this is so funny to me. Like it's such like a monkey brain thing. I've noticed that greener thumbnails do slightly better.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So, like,
Okay.
I literally like, we will like, if it's nice outside, like we'll try to like get a couple of shots where we're going to be like nice and green with the blue sky, because a colder thumbnail or like night or something will do worse. The daytime
But here's the thing.
green thumbnails with blue sky.
Happy, man.
Exactly. Like it's just
But
monkey brain shit.
When you started, or at least I did this, I chose title and thumbnail while the video was uploading. I would just like drop it in the uploader and be like, I got to make a thumbnail. But either way, my point in saying all of this is that is not how you make a good video. You have to think about your title thumbnail before. Otherwise, your video has no like direction. But you can't get lost in the weeds on like those tiny little details. So it's like where I'm trying to pull back. I'm trying to, and like, one example I have is like the bulletproof wood video I made, where it literally took me like, I think 2 months to go and just shoot the wood, because I was like, oh, I want to hit the center of the wood with the bullet. I need consistency.
Were you like
so I literally
practicing at a range to get good?
No, so what happened was
Yeah.
I spent 2 months training.
No, I didn't. So I
Olympic
bought. I
training
literally
class.
bought.
They could only make this much wood.
I literally bought a gun sled that you could like mount the gun on, and I
Wow.
was
You
like,
full
okay,
sniper mode.
I'm gonna like put like a laser thing. I'm gonna try to like.
This is peak Nigel.
Yeah, no, but because I
You know what
wanted.
Peter would do? He would just sit out there like, like full. He
So-
would get like a
Well,
I
so-
always ask myself, what would Peter do?
But my point in
shoot
saying
with
this
a
is,
shotgun, so you're gonna hit it once.
there were so many little details that I was thinking of, which delayed it by like a month or two. Actually, the hardest part was finding a place to shoot. But besides that, all these little details of how I wanted the presentation to go delayed it until one day. I don't know what happened. I was talking to someone about like these problems, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care anymore. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick this piece of wood, and I'm just gonna shoot it. And guess what? I've shot this gun. Before I shoot it, I'm gonna do 2 practice shots to make sure that I kind of have an idea of how to shoot it. And I don't even think I did a practice shot. Now that I think of it, I think I straight up loaded the gun, and which is what we saw on
nailed it on your
camera.
first try.
I just loaded it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna use the iron sights, and if I miss, I miss. That's
What
it.
would
I was
Peter
like,
do? It worked
so,
fine?
but the thing is, the first time I did it, I hit it and it was like perfectly centered. The second time or the third time I shot it, one of them, I actually hit the edge.
Why don't you just get
But
closer
I'm like,
to it?
whatever. Well, I was afraid of a ricochet.
It wouldn't look
because,
as
you know,
cool.
Oh.
Oh, you thought your bulletproof wood was that good?
was too good, right? I was afraid. I was too good.
less
But either way,
bullet.
my point in saying all of this is like, I find that it's really normal to kind of, once you fix a problem, it's like painful to, it feels like regression
Mm.
when, and a dumb example for me is like when I always had like a crappy cell phone, I was always like, these smartphones are stupid. You don't need that. I then got like one of the flagship Samsungs and it was so fast that I'm like, I can never go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that, but that's in video production. Like you get so used to things, these little things you like, that going back feels painful. But before you know it, you're just like, you never post anything.
You know what
So
helps
it's like,
a lot?
how do you, sorry?
You know what helps the most?
What?
There's one trick. There's one thing that will help
With what?
with getting videos out
Okay.
frequently. Having to do it every single week.
Yeah.
It's
If you
having,
have a deadline and you have to do it, bro, you will cut all the corners you need
So-
to cut to get it done.
but I think the thing that I was kind of alluding to before is there is this sweet spot as a creator where you don't make enough money to feel secure,
Yeah.
but you make
Yes.
enough money to feel like you can do that as your job.
yeah.
The part though
Totally.
is once you tip over, and I always remember this, I tipped over the edge of if the sponsor makes me really mad, I'll just be like, or if they annoy me, I'll just be like, you know what? I'm just not doing an ad this video. Like the moment that I was like, you know what? I can even take a loss on this video and I'll recover. And that stress of I have to make money or else I'm like bankrupt. The moment that existential fear went away was when you start giving yourself a lot of slack.
yeah.
And so what I kind of want to have that existential fear to come back to be
I
like,
know.
Give me your money give me 20% of your income for open sauce.
well, so my way
Your
of doing
tithe.
it is
Tithe,
what you have to
please.
do is kind of what I tried to do is I'm going to work on some big projects that cost a lot of money.
No,
that if I
give me your
don't,
money.
like, that if I don't get it done, I'll just lose a lot of money.
Yeah. No. Oh, you had it. Yes.
Number
I
one.
think the better way to
Number
look
five.
at it though is because
super
you
fun.
obviously don't want to go back. I remember how mentally painful it was to always think that like if this video doesn't do well, then you kind of have to like quit YouTube. The way to go back is just for like mental health reasons, where it's like it just feels better when you don't spend 3 weeks going back and forth on a useless detail that no one cares about. It just feels good. So it's like kind of prioritizing feeling like you're actually moving forward in a project and getting things done. And that's just better for you and the audience because then they actually get a video that doesn't take 6 months to make.
You want to know what my probably biggest advice that I would give to people trying to make YouTube videos now? It's actually
What?
not even probably. It's 100% my biggest, probably the most valuable advice that you could get making videos right now is because of that title thumbnail problem, right? Where like every video is a banger, where if you post a video
Yeah.
and it's not a banger, it won't do well.
Okay.
How do you combat that?
By just
Wait,
being
sorry, can
okay
you
with your
repeat that?
videos not doing great and just post consistently.
I think that being okay with your videos not doing great is not quite the right answer. I think that a longer form story. So what are shows you're watching right now?
Black Mirror.
Are you watching anything, Nigel?
I just finished season 1 of Severance.
Why do you
nice.
why do you come into the next episode?
Just as like a fundamental question.
Yeah, like do you wait until what platform is that on?
It was on Apple TV.
So you're watching Apple TV. Do you wait?
Crapple
Like,
TV.
do you just turn your TV on and it recommends it to you, and then you click on it?
I kind of don't watch many shows, so that was like the only thing I was watching.
But how do you get to it when you go to watch it?
It's actually linked through Prime.
No, but I'm saying,
But
like,
yes,
how
I'm
do you
seeking
tell
it
me-
out.
He seeks it out because he wants
Do
to
you
watch
seek it out?
Yeah, because it's the only show I was watching.
Okay, how many YouTube channels do you seek out?
None.
Why? Why?
Because of the
Yeah.
YouTube algorithm.
Why do you seek out Severance, but you don't seek out any YouTube channels?
Oh, that's I maybe I shouldn't say I don't seek out YouTube channels. Like what better way I'd say it is
Who's a
on the
YouTuber that's posting
daily-
this week, this next month that you're waiting for their video?
none.
Okay, why?
No, but just what I was gonna say was I don't seek out on the daily, but if like 2 weeks pass and let's say, I hate to admit it, but I watch your videos, it's a very shameful admission. I like your farmer adventures. Like if I didn't see one of your videos pop up, I would be like, did he just stop posting videos? And I would look. But YouTube is so good at just literally throwing it in my face that
But why
until
do you seek it? But why do you have that thought process?
what do you mean? Like
Like,
even
why
look for
would you
it?
think about the second channel?
I don't know.
There's a long-term narrative.
Yeah.
That's what TV shows are. It's a long-form narrative where between every episode, there's a story happening.
Yeah.
Between all of them. Like,
And you
you've
want to
got,
know what's
like,
going to happen.
right? It's like you have a story at the first episode, and you have kind of a conclusion at the last episode, and then in between the first and second, there's a story. In the first, there's a story. In the first quarter, there's a story. Like there's all these stories that you are like interested in seeing, and like that's something that I was sitting down thinking, like, why am I watching these like absolutely garbage like Japanese cartoons? I don't even want to say anime. Like they're trash. They're absolute trash. Like they're genuinely some of the worst shows I've ever watched in my entire life. And I will walk away from them.
Yeah.
But like
you're still curious about like, where's this going?
The bar is so much lower because it's consistent. Every week an episode will come out. Every week there's like some addition to the story, and you know that it'll probably conclude at the end. And it's like I trust that it will be good enough, and I trust that it will answer any of the questions that I have, and it like gets my curiosity. I want to know like what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody on YouTube does that.
There are some.
Who?
There are shows, right, on YouTube, like Jet Lag kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
But besides that, like no science creators do anything like that.
I think
I'm going to be honest.
That's
the
more of a
second channel
vlog kind of thing.
should not do as well as the second channel does. And I think that anyone that's trying to make videos should investigate that deeply and figure out why.
I think because really what that is, it's like a slice of life of a maker kind of person, right?
Yeah,
so
but
you
what's
get
the goal? Why would they want to come back?
well, because they get something out of the videos that they like.
Okay,
to
so
see.
I can explain it to you. You do have ongoing stuff like with the chickens, and you're trying to grow stuff. Like you are actively doing stuff that doesn't have a conclusion.
What's the last video you watched?
I was watching it before the
recent one.
The problem was I almost always watch them on the computer, so I actually see it. Whereas this one I was listening to today, so I don't have visuals. I think you're talking about chickens being attacked or something.
Yeah, so that's like if you miss an episode, you're like, what happened to the chickens, or what happened? Like even
Yeah.
planting the seeds that were sent on the unboxing.
It's like, oh, they're going to release the chickens
Yeah.
into the yard. Like, they have to
Right.
make sure there's no coyotes.
Exactly.
I wonder what happened to them.
Like that seed, because that plant is gonna grow. Hopefully,
You literally planted seeds.
Right.
I mean,
and it's like, well, what's gonna happen? Like, is the seed gonna grow? Like, there's all these like interwoven continuations, like these storylines that are like, tagged into everything, like the compost stuff. Like the compost
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah,
started
you're talking
longer
about that.
before, like long ago, like longer before we actually started showing in the videos to make
Yeah.
sure that it was actually going in that direction. And it's like it's all real. Like they're all like, we're gonna get like this obscenely large amount of compost
Oh,
delivered.
I wish
But,
that
like,
was fake.
I know, I wish it was fake too. But like the whole point of like sharing it and talking about it is because it's not going to happen right now. It's going to happen in like some period of time in like the next couple of months. But people are like, oh, whatever happened with that compost?
yeah.
Like it's basically trying to set up progression to like tell the story of like what the goal is and what we're trying to do to achieve that goal. And so even like I was talking to one of my friends and he was like, oh, you should just at the beginning of every video, you should just say what you're trying to do. Like a TV show would do. And so every episode starts with me just saying like my dream is to grow 1 billion sunflowers, 1 million sunflowers, right? So it's like you come into this video and you're like, oh, this guy's trying to grow sunflowers, but then there's all these other things going on. But you feel like the instant there's a field of sunflowers is going to be a huge moment.
Yeah.
And like, even if you don't watch the next month of videos, you're gonna be like, oh, did that guy ever grow his sunflowers?
So I have a comment to make on that though. I think that I was just thinking about this as you were saying that. I think the viewership and the way that people watch YouTube videos has just obviously changed. And kind of like how I said, like, I don't seek out anything. When I at least see, like, for example, your second channel videos pop up, I think it's just the bar for why people watch stuff is, at least with the algorithm, maybe just like different, I guess, I think it's different than shows. Because it's like, if I see your videos, I find, when I watch them, I'm entertained. So when they pop up,
This is a huge
I-
win.
yeah. So it's like when they pop up, it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like a lot of the way that
It's a
I'm
safe
just like
choice.
projecting. Yeah, it's like I'm projecting my way of doing things on like, how everyone else does. But I think that's just how people are, where it's like you just stick to it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
easier to watch another episode in the same show than it is for someone to be like, hey, you want to start this new show?
Right.
So it's like if I go, hey, the last episode or the like whatever, let's say, I don't know, South Park or something. I don't know why I thought about that. If I'm like, oh, I like that show, and someone's like, hey, you want to watch a random episode that you haven't seen before? I'm like, sure, why not? And I feel like it's kind of the same thing where it's like you felt the last one delivered
yeah.
what you wanted. The bar wasn't, you didn't need to have a life-changing experience. So you'll keep clicking on those videos until they consistently don't deliver that to you, and it
I'll
annoys
try to
you.
reframe. I think that the second channel only has to prove itself once. It only has to convince the viewer
Yeah.
once, whereas every video on the main channel has to convince every viewer every single time. So like you have to use the title and thumbnail and the intro to convince somebody to stay in this
But-
video. Whereas the second channel, you don't have to use the title, thumbnail, and intro to convince the audience to stay in the video.
So,
And so
I guess
that's the
Sorry,
nightmare is every main channel video, you have to come up with something people want to watch.
Yeah.
For the second channel, you just have to do what you've already told people you are going to do.
I guess it's the
And you
I
can do a
guess
lot
it's
of
the
different things. You can do
You can do
direction.
different things now. Yeah.
To me, it's like the two different audiences you're going for. It's like if you want high views, you have to convince an audience of people who don't care about you
Yeah.
that they should watch you, and that's very title thumbnail. Whereas like the low level one
Yeah.
is people who already know you. The convincing's less. And it might be a dumb example, but it's like if a friend of mine goes, hey, you want to go just get some food? He doesn't really have to pitch it too hard. Very lightly, I could be like, yeah, sure, I'm down. But if like a random dude just messages me that I barely know, it's like, I'm going to have to be in like a certain mood and feel like I'm kind of convinced as to why it's worth this risk, because it might be a terrible time. So I find that like if people watch a lot of your second channel videos and they're like, I'm just down to see Kevin and Will like mess around on a farm, the threshold's lower. but
Yeah.
you're not going to get like 35 million views on that
Right.
video. But
But
if
it
you
makes
want
it
35
way-
million,
Yeah. It's so
you're going to
much
have to really
easier
hard
to
sell
make
it. Yeah.
videos on the second channel than the main channel.
Yes.
Like that to me is like trying to escape the void of needing every single, topic that you make a video on to be
Yeah.
a banger, where you just spend more time trying to make the whole thing good enough and interesting rather than try to
Yes.
appease the, generic audience on YouTube. Because I think that's where the nightmare comes from. It's trying to get, several million people to click on a video and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, I
then
do
there's-
actually like watching Hyperspace Pirates videos
Yeah.
and
I like his too. Yeah.
Breaking Taps. I've been, I do check in to see what they're up to.
It's always, I
'Cause
find.
pretty much everything they make is cool.
Yeah. Are they
But I
working on
do
long-term
find there's-
projects, though?
Hyperspace Pirate is.
Right.
Yeah.
There's just always that split off where we talked about this before, kind of, or I don't know if it was on the podcast or just before it, where it's like, if you go, okay, I can spend, grind away for a month or two and get a 6 million view video, or I can in a day do something
Just
and
turn
get
on the
like,
camera
let's
and
say,
do something that I want to do.
let's say a 500K video. And you're like, okay, theoretically the other one's 12 of those videos, but it's like, was it 12 times the stress? It's like in 2 months, I could probably make 12 videos.
Yeah.
So it ends up being, though, it's like just trying to figure out where your time is optimally spent, but then also like those two different types of videos do deliver something different. Like you making an X-ray machine and doing all that stuff is definitely something that you probably want. It's worth doing. Not just for like sheer view count.
I have a bet. Like if I had to put my money on this, I would say the future of the platform is like, I would say anyone that can figure out how to do more of a long-term narrative about something. And I'm not saying like I'm building a scanning electron microscope.
Yeah.
Checking like
Part 1 of 8 or something.
right. Like
yeah.
I think Aging
Part
Wheels
1 of
is an example
99
of this, where like Aging Wheels, I like his videos, but the narrative is about just like fixing a car, which I'm less invested in. So it's like I think if you have, if you're trying to figure out how to make stuff on YouTube, listening to this, I think if there is a long-term problem you're trying to solve and like building something as a part of that narrative, like I think there's, I feel like I've tried to get a couple people to go in this direction, like Alex Ernst sort of.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like,
he's a great candidate.
He's
for
a great
it.
candidate for this kind of topic of like, oh, I want a house. So I'm going to buy a piece of land and build a really shitty house on it, is like a very relatable narrative of, well, how do I live for cheap? Because, your parents used to, single father could buy a house for a nickel in the 70s.
Yeah.
And now it's worth $10 million kind of shit.
And everybody watching it's going to have their own ideas on how to do it. He's like this kid that's never done this before going to do it. It is very like,
right.
Yeah, relatable in that sense too.
I feel like if you want, engineering videos are cool, but I think if you can sort of intertwine engineering stuff into like a more real narrative that you see on like a show, that's where my money is for sort of the next YouTube channel. That's why you see so much stuff doing well that's not engineering. It's more like either parasocial or, like those problem solvings that are more relatable, where it's like, I need to
just some kind of like vlog,
living their life,
slice of life. But it's like there's like naturally a story in that's overarching. It's like,
because the story about building a machine seems to be a lot less appealing than it used to be to people on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's like a story where you're trying to fix something in your life and you have to build a machine to do that, but then it focuses on all the other parts of that. I think would do really well. Like, I need ideas for the rat trap video, right? So we had like rats chew through the water lines. So I'm like pissed at the rats, right? Because that caused, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in damage. They chewed through thank God the walls weren't closed, but they chewed through the PEX lines and it flooded the bathroom. And so it's like, I'm mad at these rats. I need to frick these rats up, right? Like that's a real problem.
Yeah.
And like other people have problems with rats. And so it's like engineer versus rats. And then in the video, it's like the rats fricked my shit up. I'm going to frick the rat shit up. So like you guys gave me ideas for rat traps. And then it's just the most heinous rat traps you've ever seen in your entire, like war crime rat traps.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's this narrative that like, I'm mad at the rats. I need to make the rats go away. They cost me a bunch of money. And so I'm going to like just freaking kill these rats. in the most horrible
Yeah.
way possible. Like you can't actually do that. So we'll just test like the machines with like something other than a rat, but like a gerbil or something cheap. You know what I'm saying though?
Gummy
Like
rat.
it's like there's this kind of like I feel like Nigel's videos are very much this like naturally curious. Like, oh, here's this cool thing.
Yeah.
Like I want to know the answer to
So
that.
it could be kind of his journey about the,
right.
electron microscope.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that's a good one, but I think like the pop rocks is a good one, right? Because like I remember like I always every time I'm trying to like start a video or make an intro for it, I go and watch a bunch of stuff to see what everyone else did, and you're just like, I like pop rocks, but the problem with pop rocks is they're not like poppy enough. Is literally what you say,
Yeah.
That is good.
and it's like okay, cool, like that's enough of an understanding of why you're doing this. But for an electron microscope, you're like, I really like electron microscope. You know, like what is the thing there? Like,
All
So I
right.
think
Well,
the
right
big-
now we're at 1 hour and 20 minutes. Are we going to do a Patreon?
we should
another one?
do an extra.
All right. Well, before we do an extra, I want to show you something.
Oh God.
I also
my
want to
God.
ask
I
you
made
one
these
question, Kevin.
for open sauce. Here, you can
What
have
is
that one.
Are these laser cut?
Yeah. Let's see if it focuses.
Wait, is this from the pallet strap?
Yeah. Yeah. So at the metal yard, they just give these away for free. It's like all the old like metal.
I saw that. I saw one on the couch, and I was like, I feel like Kevin is saving that.
My couch?
No, the couch outside.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't throw it away.
Thank you.
I had a
Thank
suspicion. I was like, that's like spring steel or whatever.
You. It
the
is.
hell.
It's spring steel. So
like
I
shitty spring steel.
yeah.
What does
So
it
I
do?
thought it's you can't
You
see
see
it on
it?
camera. It's not focusing, but
No.
it's like a little lockpick set that you can put in your wallet. Like it's
Huh.
credit card sized.
Does this count as a lockpick?
Not,
if it's
until, not
still
until
in the-
you pop them out.
I feel like that might actually be.
But
That's
how
really
does it like
cool.
when they pop out? Can you put them back in?
No, it's like a
No.
little
Yeah, you can't
like
see it.
sprues and like a plastic model
says-
set.
Do you see what it says up top?
Open seam.
Open sesame.
Open sesame. Oh, the eye is kind of cursed. Open sesame. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Here also I got
Like a
you
magic spell.
a lock. So you
Dude,
can
I
go
don't
ahead.
think I can actually pick.
So
one.
I'm going to give these out to people at Open Sauce, I think.
Bro, when you handed this to me, dirt poured out of the keel.
So you know how they do the little creator rooms? I'm
yeah.
going to give
Oh
these
yeah,
to people.
the discussions.
Yeah,
with,
yeah. And anybody from the
yeah.
Discord that I meet, I'm going to
Nice.
give them one of these.
How long does it take to cut them?
Like 45 seconds.
Actually, the worst part too is that you have to like feed the like pallet strap
I
through.
made a jig.
Oh, you did make a jig to
yeah,
do it?
So it sits perfectly on the has like
Does
hose
it cut-
cuts that go on the
Do
slabs.
you do a whole string of them, or do you cut one at a time?
Right now it's just one.
Okay.
And then you just like push it forward.
Bro,
and
now
it's
you're
done.
like CNC min maxing.
Yeah.
That's a whole genre of engineering.
I should be making videos.
That's how I know.
But I'm like, oh, this will only take like a few minutes. And then it takes
Dude, you
like
should.
3
That's
hours.
dude, that to me is a short. Is you made one of these, but now you want to make a bunch. So it's like no one gives a shit about making one, but like the interesting part is like how do you go from one to cutting out 100 of them?
Oh yeah, like that pipeline.
Yeah. That's like the lemonade stand. Like I love the lemonade stand. Like I want to make like everyone wants to start a business, and then it's like, well, how do you make your business better, right? Like how do you go from making one to like automating it? Maybe that's just me. I love automation.
You know what I would do? I would
Wait.
just buy a big sheet of spring. I think the end conclusion is buying a big sheet of spring steel.
Yeah, but then you
And
see
stop
how
trying to be-
expensive it is, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm being so cheap right now. This is free from the metal yard, and there's like thousands of feet of it.
Dude, if you give them, I was gonna say, yeah, you probably don't even need to give them one of these. They'll just give you their free trash.
Yeah, they do.
What were you
Wait,
saying,
Kevin,
man?
I had a question.
Yes.
Before, I mean, we don't have much time left, but you said you had questions about, or yeah, I don't know if it was on camera, but you said you had questions about my travels.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We talk about that on the Patreon.
I was.
I mean, you can mention it here. I guess I don't know.
What happened?
I was gonna say,
Nothing.
did you eat a bunch of movie theater nachos too, and that's why you're sick, or
Where's
or
that
did you
coming
catch it in
from?
Brazil?
No. Whatever disease I
Did
have.
you just get back?
Oh,
I was there for like 8 days.
Oh, okay.
You did. It felt like 2 weeks to you, though.
Dude, I bet that was a nice
understand.
vacation. What were you doing?
Trying to
I
get away
was,
from the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Did you feel safer in Brazil or Canada?
I felt. I feel like when I initially, because it's my third time going, to Sao Paulo, and when I first went there, obviously I'm like, I've never been to South America, so I was just like hesitant. But I feel like this time I felt fine. I might have been too comfortable.
Yeah. You didn't get robbed or no?
Oh man, not yet.
I would rob you.
But yeah,
Or we should talk about it on the extra podcast.
Wait,
no,
why,
I mean,
why were you there though?
yeah, sorry. I was visiting my girlfriend.
Whoa!
Just watch the views on his videos just tanked.
No.
Wait,
Yeah,
no,
There's only
lives-
one reason people watch your
this
videos.
means I don't have a chance anymore.
Oh no, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
No, yeah, she lives in Sao
I'm
Paulo.
gonna stop giving
But-
you money every month.
But I feel like I this time was kind of bad in the sense that I feel like in the other times I tried to blend in, but I was too comfortable. So there was like a couple times where I feel like I screeched in public.
What do they speak Spanish?
just-
in
Why do you
Brazil?
screech in public?
Brazilian? Is Brazilian a language? I speak
Portuguese.
Brazilian. Portuguese. I knew. I'm like,
Portuguese. How do you say it, Nigel?
I
Say it
don't-
like you're Brazilian.
I am so ashamed of my ability to speak Portuguese that
What?
I will abstain.
how close is Portuguese to Spanish?
It's close. Yeah. Like basically if you're fluent in one or the other, you will probably understand the person,
Mm.
but it would be not ideal.
It's
In
like
my mind,
English
it's like
versus Hicklish.
It's like
no.
it's like
in my mind,
Spanish. It's like Spanish, but it sounds like you slur a lot of your words.
Okay.
my opinion, it would be like you are a native English speaker hearing somebody who it's their second or third language as English,
Their second or third
and
drink.
they make a lot of mistakes, and you're kind of like filling in a lot of the gaps of what they're saying. You're like, oh yeah, that word's good. Okay, I don't really know it half the sentence what they said, but I get the gist of what you're trying to say because I think it's like I don't know what percent, like 40% of the words are the same or something, but pronounced differently.
Like
So
vocabulary.
if you
is
like
the
use a
hardest
lot of
part.
brain power, you can like fill in the gaps. I made up that 40%. I don't know what it is, but it's
All
a
right,
large
nice.
percentage.
Tell us about.
Right.
We're gonna go do the safety third extra now. So tell us all about your trip and your beautiful, I'm assuming, girlfriend.
Wait.
I mean, I know she's a girl, but I'm just assuming
that.
that she's.
Should never assume.
Well, I mean, look at
I
Nigel.
don't know the opposite of assuming. He is.
Yeah,
very
no, she's
handsome.
very beautiful.
Yes. So let's talk about it on the extra.
But you
Thank you
said
to
it wrong,
everybody.
Kevin. You said you're beautiful, and I'm assuming girlfriend.
Yeah, we barely heard anything.
Yeah, I don't know. So
All right, thank you to everybody who supports the Safety Third podcast. If you want an extra podcast every week, you can head on over to our Patreon, linked in the description below. It's not that expensive, and it's like $5 at the minimum, it's cheapest.
mhm.
And every week you get an extra, and Kevin does video calls where you do show and tell and look at people's videos and tell them, give them feedback. Sometimes I
There's
come in,
game night
sometimes I
too.
pretty much work 12 hours a day.
I feel like
so
Kevin's doing all the heavy lifting.
Kevin is doing heavy lifting. Yeah, that's why he's so strong. So
Click.
we'll see you guys
Click.
on Patreon right
Click.
now. I love you. Say it, Nigel. Say it, Nigel.
Oh no, I love them. I don't love you.
Oh, this is we're making progress.